gallery.
Okay.
All right. Hey, I think we're live. That's what it says over here.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Hi, we're talking very important things today. We're talking to Halona, who was a speaker at Exodus Summit 2020. Halona spoke about her life in Da Nang, Vietnam. But today we're talking about something important. Halona is no longer in Vietnam. She's now in a place that a lot of us are going to want to hear about. Me, right? Me in particular. Halona is in Kigali,
Yes.
in Rwanda, and we want to talk about her decision to go to Rwanda and what is life like for her. Halona runs businesses. So we want to talk about what life is like being a business owner and a digital nomad in Rwanda. So welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Welcome,
Hi,
welcome
everybody.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome
Thank you
to
for being
Halona.
here.
So do you want to give us a quick intro? Do you want to introduce yourself to anyone who hasn't met you yet?
Yes, sure. My name is Halona Black. I am a ghostwriter, a corporate freelance writer. I've been traveling for the last 3 years. Started off in Thailand, went through various countries in Southeast Asia, and in November of 2020, I moved to Kigali, Rwanda in East Africa. And so since I've been here, I've been continuing with my writing business, which is based in the United States. I do that online. And then I started a local business here in Kigali, Rwanda, for the purposes of me being able to stay longer. Rwanda has a very easy way for people who are business owners to be able to stay here, as well as tourists, if you want to be able to talk about that as well. But yeah, I have a business here where I support people who are interested in investing in the country of Rwanda, as well as, staying here. I have some Airbnb spaces as well.
All right. So let's talk about your decision.
All about that.
Let's talk about your choice to go. So when you were in Vietnam, were you certain you were going to Rwanda next, or did you have a list of places? Okay. So
no, I never keep a list of anywhere that I'm going. So in November 2020, well, even before that, a lot of Asian countries, Vietnam included, was making it sort of difficult for tourists to be able to stay because of the pandemic. Okay. And so it just hit me in my spirit saying that it's not so easy for me to be able to travel the world as a tourist anymore. I'm going to be able, if something were to happen and if a country said, listen, you need to go, my first choice would not be to go back to the United States. Right. And so I said that I need to be able to figure out a place where I could have a home base, and still be able to travel the world as I please. And so I did some research, and Rwanda has always sort of been in the back of my mind. I've traveled to the continent of Africa before. When I was in my 20s, I was a Peace Corps volunteer and had done some traveling for work and other things before. And so I have some experience. I lived for 2 years, at least three or more years on the continent, but had never been to Kigali, Rwanda. And so, if you do some research, you'll find out Kigali is a really great place. It's very clean. It's very safe. And those were the sorts of things that I was looking for in a place to be able to stay. And then I also found out that it was very easy for people to be able to start businesses here. You can go online and start a business within 6 hours online. It's very, very easy. And it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, at least for the first 2 years, to be able to start your business here.
This is because Rwanda is intentionally looking for what are they looking for? Immigrants, or are they looking for digital nomads, or both, or do you know?
They're looking for people who want to be able to start businesses here, no matter who you are or where you come from. And so they make it a very great business environment for people to be able to start businesses. They don't want you to have a lot of red tape to be able to start businesses. If you go to other countries around Africa, this is not just exclusive to Africa. You can go to other countries and find a lot of red tape to be able to start a business. But you'll go to countries and you'll find that, you got to figure out what office you have to go to. It's not very clear who you need to speak to. Sometimes you got to go through a middleman and you got to pay the person. And then, 6 months down the line, you find out you're paying the wrong person who can't really help you to do anything. So you've lost, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of money. Rwanda has none of that. I haven't had any issues with, people trying to steal money from me. I haven't had any issues with a bunch of red tape. You got to go into offices and find people who can help you, but oftentimes they will point me back to their website. So if you do enough research on their websites, you'll find a lot of information there on how to do things. And people are very friendly. They give a lot of really good information.
And so it sounded like in the beginning you were saying that there is a specific visa that allows you to stay if you do a business. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I have a, I wish I had a look before I even came on here, but it's related to a business visa. I want to call it, I don't want to give the wrong information, but it's related to, it's a resident visa where they offered me a year visa because of the fact that I have a business, and I told them what type of a business I was doing, and they decided that they liked it. And so they gave me a year. I've spoken to other people who started businesses and they only gave them 3 months to 6 months.
Okay.
It really just, it depends on who you're speaking to and who's looking at your application at the time. So you'll get anywhere from 3 months to a year for your first time. And then they'll sort of review your business to see what it is that you're doing. And then they will renew it, I think, for up to 2 years after that. If you want to remain a tourist, if you just want to come here as a tourist, they do have, if you're coming from the United States, there's something called a reciprocity visa. I believe it's I want to say it's the V12 visa. If you go to the Rwanda embassy website that's located in Washington, D.C., you can pay, I think it's $160 and get a tourist visa that will last you for 10 years.
No.
Oh, really?
10 years. Yeah, it will last you for 10 years. And the only caveat is that you have to leave every 6 months. And that's it.
Oh.
You can leave for a day, cross the border, do what you need to do. But every 6 months, you need to leave and come. It's like the same as you would in Mexico. You just got to leave for a day and come back.
So I do want to touch on that, though, because a lot of these countries are cracking down on people who border run. But this is not a border run. This is what is, it's written into the visa. You have to leave. It could be for a couple hours a day, whatever, and then just come back. So you have to cross the border.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's a 10-year. The visa lasts for 10 years. It's called a reciprocity visa.
Interesting. Who knew? Y'all, are you taking notes? If you're interested in moving to Africa, you're specifically interested in moving to Rwanda, you need to be here. You need to be watching this. I had no idea. I knew that people were moving there, but I wasn't sure about the visa situation. So this is really helpful information. I see Stephanie making plans already. I see it in her eyes.
I am, because that's a concern, right? So that a place will let you come and stay for a specific amount of time. But then you like it and you want to stay longer. So that's always a thought, right? Because I like Portugal. Right. Portugal's only going to let me stay for 3 months until I get residency. So this is wonderful. All right, great. So you're there. Okay, so you're there because you have a business, you have a separate type of visa, but it's not permanent residency. This is a temporary situation. No,
it's a temporary residency visa. Okay. I haven't figured out the rules of a permanent residency as of yet. I'm, still trying to work out having a local business. And so I like the fact that I've been able to start a local business that still allows me the opportunity to be able to travel. I don't have to actually be here in order to run my business.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I'm here right now, just sort of, laying down the foundation, but like, by November, like I'm out of here at least for a couple of months. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll still have a place here. But like I haven't traveled since I've been here in November, and so I'm itching to go someplace. Yeah, okay. But it's important for me to be able to just sort of lay the foundation and have a small team of people who work with me, and then I can travel.
So you're local.
I never thought that I would do that before I left. Like this was not on my list of things to do in life. But like this is just something that has sort of come up, and I didn't really think I would ever have the capacity to be able to. I run like 2 businesses at once. It's crazy.
So I want to touch on that a little bit. So you moved to Rwanda in November, right? You've been there less than a year. You have the writing that you do. Is that one of the businesses you're talking about? No, you're saying 2 local businesses, right?
So I have 1 local business, plus I have the writing business that I do online that's based in the United States. Most of my clients are from the United States.
Okay, so you've been there less than a year and you already have a local business up and running that will be self-sufficient enough for you to step away from in November. That's amazing. Like a year, this is the power of what can be done in a year. That is really, really astounding. So you mentioned that your business is to help people who are considering coming to Rwanda. Is it to get familiar with the area? How do you support? You mentioned supporting them. How do you support them?
So eventually what I would like to do is to be able to offer investment tours where people can sort of come and sort of review, the needs and look at ideas of what other people are doing and how it is that they're investing in the country of Rwanda. So people are starting like fish farms. They might have a regular farm. They might be doing real estate projects. They might, have a string of stores, a whole lot of things that people, solar energy projects. People are starting schools here. There's so many things that can be done. And so, but one of the things that I know that a lot of African Americans in particular ask about is they've never been to the continent of Africa. And so they don't know what the needs are. They've never been here. There's some fears about being able to travel here to Rwanda or just Africa in general. And so I want to be able to introduce how to do that to people to sort of lessen people's fears. And so when you come here, if you want to stay, I always say you have to come here with a business mind. Because it's a beautiful place. There's a lot of things to do, but there's it's a place that has a lot of needs. And so if you're coming here, you're just looking to lay back and be catered to, you'll be frustrated after a good month. But for people who are more adventurous and you are more business minded, Rwanda is a really great place for you to come and visit to. And so I want to be able to be the person that they come to be able to get some sort of introduction on how to start to do that.
Okay. Let's do some comparison then. Can we compare this to, have you been to like a Johannesburg or let's say
I've only been to West Africa before. Okay. So I've never been to Johannesburg.
Okay. So when you say this is not a place that you're going to come and just chill, you can, if you are more laid back and you're, a backpacker and then you'll be fine. But then, there are other people who are travelers. They need to be catered to all the time. They need, Rwanda is very good as far as infrastructure is concerned. Like water is always running. The electricity always runs. The internet is really great. Once you sort of leave Kigali, it can get sort of spotty. There's not always a lot of things to do, especially since Rwanda is very good about doing things with protecting people from COVID. So a lot of restaurants and things may not always be open. So you got to cook at home for yourself. You can order groceries, you can order from restaurants when they are open and things like that. But if you're looking to be catered to hand and foot, like you would in like you could in like I was doing in Asia, to be honest, you'll be a little bit frustrated after a while.
I don't want to dig too deep into your business, but are you comfortable comparing your cost of living in Asia and in Rwanda?
Yeah. So for me, housing is my biggest expense. One of my biggest frustrations was that when I got here was trying to find a decent place to live because I was paying $300, no more than $400 per month for most of the places that I stayed in when I was in Asia, no matter the country, for a basic studio apartment. Here, when I tried to find it, you can find places. However, the electricity would sometimes go out. I would have problems with the internet which is an issue because I have, my online writing business. Sometimes, like things like the windows didn't have the proper covering on it. So when it would rain inside, and there would be like mosquitoes and things. It just wasn't sufficient for me. So what I wound up moving into was a penthouse apartment in an expat neighborhood. We say expat neighborhood, but it's actually filled with Rwandan people. But it's a beautiful 1-bedroom apartment that's got 3 balconies, and I have like views to live for. And I pay $800 a month for it, and that's my biggest expense. Food here is very affordable, particularly because I cook most of my food anyway. I have my fresh food delivered here daily. I spend, maybe $5 to $10 a day to be able to get food, fresh food delivered here. Everything is always organic. It always looks like they pulled it out of the ground before they delivered it to me. And for the most part, everything else that I spend, like electricity, I probably spend maybe $25 to $30 a month. It includes my internet connection, and I have fiber optic cable internet, which is the fastest internet. It's very, very dependable. Transportation, I don't go to a lot of places here, but it costs $1 to get around on a motorbike to most places in the city. If you want to take a taxi, it's usually about $7. So it's not bad.
Good. Okay, so it's good to know that because we talked to you before about about your life in Vietnam and how the food was better and how the food and all was healing. So it's good to know that you're still getting that experience in Rwanda.
Yeah.
But we'll note that the cost of living, the housing situation is going to be more expensive, right?
For me, there are other people who live in cheaper, they find cheaper spaces in other neighborhoods, and they love it. They're totally fine. They can find, like I know some people who have a 2-bedroom apartment here for $400 in a more local neighborhood, and that suits their needs.
Okay. But if we're talking about running a business, you're going to need reliable electricity. You're going to need reliable, fast, inexpensive internet. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. So hi, everyone in the chat. We have a question from Kenyatta. Hi, Kenyatta. What type of business have you found works for that area? You said that someone needed to come in ready. If they wanted to come in, they needed to hit the ground with an idea. So what do you think? What are some good ideas? Please help us.
Yeah, they're really big here on starting green big businesses.
Okay.
So things like, if you wanted to do something with packaging, I find that a lot of when they do restaurant delivery, they're still delivering things in a lot of plastic, and they're like taping it up with masking tape so that it doesn't spill all over the place. And I'm like, it'd be really great if somebody did like some eco packaging, or things like solar panel businesses is really great. I've seen some people here invest into real estate. They're building a house for themselves with like a farm attached to it, or they're investing into condominiums and renting them out to people here, which is a big need. A lot of the homes here in Rwanda, they do like these huge homes with like 4, 5, 6 bedrooms with 4, 5, and 6 bathrooms attached to it. And a lot of people don't need that kind of space, unless you're coming with a big family. However, if you're like a single person or you're a couple with maybe 1 or 2 kids, you just want, a condo, a 2 or 3 bedroom condo, and that would be great for you. And so there's more condos that are popping up, and you can buy one of them. I think someone here had just bought a condo here for like $25,000. Okay. It's like, and that's not the deposit, that's the whole price of the whole condominium. So it doesn't take a whole lot to be able to invest here in Rwanda.
Okay. Are we talking, so I know that what I know about Rwanda is that it's trying to lead the way in terms of being clean and green in Africa, like being a country, the entire nation is trying to lead the way in that regard. So are we talking, if someone's coming in and wanting to buy real estate, do they need to be registered as a business, or is real estate separate? Can we run a real estate business without having the I mean, can
Yeah.
we buy real estate?
Without having to run a business. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a totally separate process. So yes, you can show up on if you just want to do like a tourist visa and speak to a realtor, and you can buy real estate. And there's ways for you if you just want to pay in cash. That's usually preferred.
Okay.
But they also have ways for you to be able to get loans as well.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
that's
getting
helpful.
a message that the live paused.
Is it
Okay, it's back. It says the live was interrupted, but it's back. It's back.
okay?
Mhm.
Question for you, Halona. You just talked about real estate and the different things that are the different types of homes that are available. So I want to know about your Airbnb. Tell us more. What's it like? Where is it? Like, what kind of neighborhood is it in? What? How many bedrooms? Give it all to us. Let us know.
Yeah, so it's a 2-level home. It's got 7, maybe 8 bedrooms in it. Yeah, so it's got beautiful views. And pretty much everywhere in Kigali, it has beautiful views of hills. Rwanda is known as the land of 1,000 hills. So there's pretty much green hills everywhere you go. Yeah, and so it's got a beautiful coffee spaces around the house. It has green space. It's got tropical trees and flowers. Rwandans are really good about doing landscaping around here. I mean, I've seen some beautiful gardens in a lot of homes that are here. And so the space will be ready in September. The owner of the home that owns it, he's actually lives in Belgium. He's Rwandan, but he lives in Belgium. And so, he has a business where he creates homes and then he just sort of rents them out. And so I am renting this particular one out to be able to use for Airbnb.
Okay. Is it going to be individual rentals, or are you renting it out as like a co-living space? You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one is going to work, particularly as travel is sort of restricted. And so I want to be able to rent out like the first floor, which is 3 or 4 bedrooms. I want to be able to rent that out and just to be able to rent it out to see how that works. If that doesn't work, then I'll do individual rooms and just have people come in and out and see if that would be a better plan.
Okay,
That's good to know. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the workarounds. Do you have to make any kind of workarounds to run your online business from Rwanda? In Vietnam, I think you said that we talked to you during Exodus Summit and you said you had no problems, internet was great, no problems. Are you having any issues running your business from Rwanda that's different from running it from Vietnam or from the US or from wherever?
No, it's actually a little bit more convenient because of my location on the planet. I'm a little bit closer as far as time zone is concerned to the United States. And so the few times that I do have to do a business or a business call, I'm not up at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning trying to run a business meeting, which is good for me. So, as long as the internet is running and in a lot of the homes here, you'll find it's what's called liquid internet. If you're coming to Rwanda and you want, because if you're looking on Airbnb, a lot of Rwandans don't tell people about their internet because they may not have the fast fiber optic internet and they don't realize how important that is to foreigners. Yeah. So you really have to ask people when you come here. What type of internet do they have? Because you'll get here and be frustrated, or they'll turn off the internet at 8 p.m. Just because they're thinking they're saving $5 on electricity, things like that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to have a business that really caters to people who are coming to Rwanda with a business mindset, and we'll have all of the conveniences available for them when they get here, so they can just get here and get everything that they need to do.
Okay. Question for you. You mentioned how the Rwandan government wants to welcome people who are investing in the country. Do you get the sense that the Rwandan people feel the same way? Are they as welcoming to foreigners coming in as the government is?
In my experience, yes. And I will be honest, they're particularly very welcoming to people of the African diaspora, African Americans included. And I think the reason is because a lot of Rwandans have left the country due to genocide and war. And so many of them are coming back. And so they understand, either they know us from being in the States or someplace else. And they understand who we are and why we want to be able to leave the States. So I meet a lot of people who know us that way. And so in my experience in West Africa, their experience with us is more limited. And so I was always met with a lot of ignorance about who we are, why are we coming, which is fine. I don't go places, expecting for people to know who we are. I think it's more about us to be able to learn about their story since I'm in their country. But it's nice to be able to feel welcomed here. And I've been told by a handful of Rwandans that the people have said in clear English that we want you all to come here and to be able to heal while we heal from our stuff, and we can all heal together, which is I have never heard in any other African country before.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're talking about their healing. So the genocide was what, 30 years ago or so?
Not even 25 years ago.
I remember when someone said how long ago it was, I was like, it was that long ago? Time moves so fast. So I added some extra years because I would have said 15. All right. So, and what has happened since then is that women have gotten power in Rwanda. That's what I think, right? Women are running the country. The reason that Rwanda is leading the continent of Africa on green initiatives is that they have women in power. Have you noticed that? Can you tell that this is a place where women are taking the lead? Yeah.
There's a lot of very highly educated women in high positions here, and it's quite accepted for women to be in positions of power here.
Okay, let's talk about your friend group. How long have you been there? I'm sorry, tell us one more time how long you've been there, Halona.
Did we lose you?
Yes.
Okay, hey, are you back?
Hey, everyone in the chat. If you have questions or anything,
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, we want to make sure you get your Rwanda questions answered. So we're here, we're live. So get them done. Get it in there.
Halona, if you're here, remind us how long you've been in Rwanda, and let us know about your friend group. How did you meet friends? Do you have friends there? And how did you find them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been here since November of 2020.
Yes.
How I've been able to meet people just randomly online. It started with when I announced that I announced online when I was still in Vietnam. I said, hey, I'm moving to Rwanda. If you know anyone there, connect me to them. Because I wasn't really sure about, the connections of African Americans. In Asia, it was really easy to be able to just find Facebook groups and connect with people. Not so much here in, at least not in Rwanda. Other countries have more established online spaces. And so I actually connected with a couple of people who were moving at around the same time that I was. And so, my connection sort of started with them, and it sort of grew as I've been here. And so there is a connection of African Americans in particular. We have a WhatsApp group here. And so we communicate with one another that way. So it's been a really great resource for me to be able to, figure out the lay of the land and, figure out, how to get water in your house, drinking water, or, how to be able to just get help for stuff.
Right. Yeah. And so I want to jump in here real quick. Halona talked about how she had that introduction, right? She put it on Facebook and people helped her out. I want everyone to know that even if you don't know people where you're going, you will find people like around the world as a whole. Black travelers, Black immigrants to wherever we are, we tend to look out for each other. So I know Halona because we met in Thailand. We were both, our times there overlapped. and we met in Thailand. And so our friend group is connected like that. And I think that once you move abroad, you'll see that your friend groups will connect you to people in a lot of other places. So the people who move abroad typically move to more than one place. So you might meet someone in one city, and now you've got a friend in another city. And so the idea that you're going to travel the world, or you're going to be an expat and you're going to be lonely, is not something you have to worry about if you're willing to say hi to the black faces where you go, if you're willing to reach out in Facebook groups of that city. So that's a good question. Is there a Facebook group in Rwanda, or is it the WhatsApp page? Is the WhatsApp group is the best group to get in contact with?
It's a WhatsApp group. I'm going to start a Facebook group particularly for people who want to be able to invest here. For that purpose. But for the most part, we connect it's a particular WhatsApp group. So, so if people want to have and you know that you're coming to Rwanda, then I'm happy to connect you to the group as well.
And almost every major city around the world has a Facebook group and a WhatsApp group, like these underground groups of Black people who are getting together and sharing the knowledge with each other as they go. So don't let the idea that, hey, maybe you've never been to Africa, you've never been to Rwanda, don't let that feel overwhelming, because it is something you can do. You can, you had never been to Rwanda before you moved here, right?
But I knew no one.
So,
I didn't know anyone, knew no one, had no idea where I was going to stay. But one of the things that I've learned about myself through traveling is that the world becomes a lot smaller. Yeah. And you become more brave. And then everywhere I go, I always meet people who are of like mind, as opposed to me when I was in the States. I felt so alone because nobody really understood what it is that I was looking for or why I was looking for it. So now anywhere I go on the planet, I know for sure that I'll be able to have a connection, even if it's just one person who can refer me to someone. I know for sure that I will always be taken care of.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of that idea that you can move abroad and be connected and never really feel alone is one of the driving forces behind Exodus Summit for Stephanie and I, for realizing that the world is greater and grander and bigger than you thought, but at the same time, your web of connections makes it smaller and easier to navigate. So if you were here with us at Exodus Summit last year, you heard Halona talk about her life, right, in Asia. And now we're talking to her about her life in Africa. And we want to open the door for you to be here next year talking about your life outside of the States, wherever that is. So this year we're running Exodus Homecoming, which is kind of not really a reunion, but what we're doing this year is we're having people, women who attended the summit last year, come back and tell us what they've done since then. So these are women who've moved abroad, who are running businesses abroad, who have moved with their children abroad. We're having them come back and say, this is what my life, last year I was in the States, right? 12 months ago, I was in the US. Their stories are going to feel very familiar to you as they tell their where they were stories. And now they're going to tell us what's changed. Just like for you, Halona, a year ago, you couldn't have imagined this life, right? You got your 3 balconies, your views of the hills, and now look what's happened in a year. And so we're really, really excited about Exodus Homecoming 2021. It's a 3-day event, September 24th through 26th. And we want you to know it's possible. And one of the ways to help you is to help you see it in women who made it happen just in the last year. So these are women who were living in the US last year and are now abroad, because 12 months can change your entire life, right, Halona? 12 months, and it's a whole new life in a new place that you never imagined. And we want that for you. We want you to know that it's doable, and we want to give you some of the tools, the tips that help you along the way, and to really just hear the stories of women who are doing it. Like last year, this time, Halona was running 1 business and now she's running 2. And I like the Airbnb blows my mind, because I don't know, but a year after moving to a place, I would be doing that. So seeing you take this bold action and open a business in a country that you just moved to is like so incredible to me. So I'm really glad we're here listening to your story.
Yeah, make
I'm
sure that
sure
you
there's,
register. So Facebook
yes,
has banished me, or I can't link to the homecoming link. Okay,
see
Facebook
if
will
I
not let
can.
me. It's exodushomecoming.com. Register for it today. If you upgrade to the accelerated program before the 15th of August, you will get a gift from Rashida and me. We will ship an actual gift to you, including international shipping, right? We'll ship it to you. But you have to have registered and upgraded to the accelerated program by the end of the day, Sunday, right? End of the day on the 14th is the end of the time that we're sending off the gift. All right. What you're going to get when you join the accelerated program is also community, right? We're going to do some, I keep wanting to call them in person, but they're not in person, but they're screen on events during the summit for people who are in that program so that we can get to know each other. Because that's one of the wonderful things that happened last year during Exodus Summit. People got to meet and get to know each other. Halona was one of the speakers, and you're a little, well, I don't know, I think you guys knew each other in the Asia crew, you guys knew each other. I saw Monique and Latrice, who both were in the Europe panel. They've met, right? Some of the speakers have gotten to meet, some of the attendees have gotten to meet. Community is invaluable. We can't stress the importance enough of forming community with people, like Halona said, who are like-minded, people who are into the stuff that you're into. So exodushomecoming.com is where you go to register for Exodus Homecoming, which is September 24th through 26th, okay? Kenyatta has some questions. First, so Halona, did you have to pay your rent, not your Airbnb, but your rent? Did you have to pay months in advance? I know like Ghana and a lot of West Africa, you go there, you want to stay for a year, you pay for a year. You want to stay for 2 years, you pay for 2 years when you get there. How was the rent process here? In
the particular place that I have, they ask for a 1 month rent deposit. However, for a lot of places, like for the Airbnb place that I'm renting, they ask for 3 months in advance.
Okay.
And a lot of places do. So if you know that you're going to be here long term, you need to come here prepared to be able to pay at least 3 months of a deposit for whatever your rent is going to be. Or you can sort of bounce around in hotels and other Airbnb. That's also another solution.
Okay.
But yeah, but if you're renting long term, they do ask for usually at least 3 months of a deposit.
Okay, that's good. That's better than some other places where they're like, no, if you want a year, you have to pay for a year, right? Or you don't get it. Like there's no in between. Okay, so that's good to know. Kenyana's asking about the U.S. credit score. So your U.S. credit score does not reach out of the borders. No one anywhere else in the world cares about your U.S. credit score.
Not here in South Africa, they do.
No,
they do, and
they pull
they will pull it up. If you have no other credits, like if you don't have a local South Africa credit score, they will look for whatever your credit score is in the States.
Okay,
there's probably ways to be able to go around it, but yeah, they do check credit scores in South Africa.
Okay,
but here in Rwanda, they do not. They don't care.
Okay, are people who are purchasing property, are they getting loans? Is it possible to go to Rwanda with your US passport and get a home loan, or do you have to have the cash to purchase property? Do you know?
A lot of people are coming here with cash. A lot of people are coming here with cash, whether they're retirement savings, or they just have stuff that they've been putting to the side for a number of years. Okay. But you can get a loan, and from my understanding, the interest rate is a bit high. So you want to have a good deposit. And take out as little as you absolutely need to be able to get a loan. But it is possible for you to get a loan here.
Okay, thank you.
And you have to be able to show, to demonstrate that you're able to pay it back with some sort of a job, or your bank deposits have to show that you're able to cover it.
Kenyatta's got questions, so I think she's on the move. Okay. All right. Have you had any experience with the healthcare system yet? She also wants to know what the healthcare is like in Rwanda.
I have not personally had any experience with healthcare here outside of taking like COVID tests. But from what I have heard from other people, you can find decent doctors and things like that. What I always tell people, if you're coming to the continent of Africa or just traveling, period, if you have, issues with things that could be fixed, like, high blood pressure, diabetes, try and do what you can to be able to control that before you leave. Just because, especially now is just not the time to be in hospitals and things like that. So if you can do what you can do to be able to keep yourself healthy, learn what you need to be able to do to keep yourself healthy, and you'll have a better time. I say try to avoid local healthcare anywhere, not just Africa, anywhere that you, if you can. Not
because it's not good, but because it's a bad time to go into a hospital.
Yeah, it's a bad time to have to be stuck having to go to hospitals. And, if you can control your own health issues using other ways, I know, everyone has, their own issues, but if there are ways for you to be able to use natural ways of being able to keep yourself healthy, then learn how to do that.
Okay, let's talk for a minute about the COVID precautions that they're taking in Rwanda. You mentioned earlier that they're strict about some things. So what kind of processes are you going through when you're entering public spaces?
Well, when you go outside, you have to wear a mask. It's just what the rule is. You wear your mask everywhere you go. When I ride around on motos, most of them will have some sort of like a spray or something to be able to put on the helmet. And then they will spray your hands and their hands. When you go into grocery stores or, large, populated places, they will usually have some sort of a contraption where they have like a hand washing station where they will, you pump the water out and you wash your hands. They'll have soap and you can wash your hands there before they let you in. They'll take your temperature, and pretty much that's it as far as the COVID measures are concerned.
You're saying
we just got out. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You're saying that's it, as if that is what's done everywhere, but you haven't been to the U.S. during COVID. It's not done in the U.S.
No.
I was just thinking about how much outrage there would be in America if people had to wash your hands before going in a store. People would freak out.
No.
It would be a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things that it's I think Rwanda is small enough so that you can do those sorts of things. I don't know, maybe in the States it's maybe way too many people to even try and control that. But here you can do that here.
Okay. Good. Very good.
All right. Any questions that we're missing, friends? Are we missing any questions? Okay, so Veronica, hi Veronica. Veronica is just joining in, and she wants to know about the American tourist visa. So let's go back one more time over the regular tourist visa and that 10-year tourist visa, please.
Yeah, so when I came here, I used the tourist visa on arrival. I forget which one it is, but there is, and it only gives you 30 days. There's also an East Africa visa where that will give you 3 months between the countries of Rwanda, Tanzania, and I want to say Uganda. And so you can use that over 90 days and be able to travel between those 3 countries. If you are coming from the United States, in my opinion, the best visa that you can get is the V12 reciprocity visa that will give you 10 years on one visa for $160, which is the same as the 30-day visa and I think the 90-day visa. So you may as well just get the most bang for your buck. And that will allow you to stay in Rwanda for 6 months at a time. And then you can, leave for a day, go fly to Tanzania, go to the beach, come back. And then your 6 months starts all over again. And so you'll have that available to you over a course of 10 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And then, so 30 days you can get it on arrival. You don't have to do any application or anything. You just pay $160 when you arrive.
When you arrive.
Okay. That's good to know. That's helpful. I would love to know what a day in your life looks like, a day in your life in Rwanda.
A day in my life. Since we're in like different we're always on a different stage of a lockdown here. I don't want to make it seem like, we can't go anywhere, because you can. But for the most part, between the hours of, at least right now, at 6 a.m. and 8 p.m., you're allowed to get up and, be free. So usually I'll get up at around 5:30, 6 in the morning. I have a really big balcony, which fits like 10. I always say it fits like 10 people. I can have like a whole yoga class back there if I wanted to. And I like to watch the sunrise, because I have these, beautiful hills, and I can, like the sunrises here are just absolutely spectacular. So I always take time to be able to sit and watch it. And then I will, do my little morning routine where I do journaling or, make some sort of a juice. And then I'll go outside and I'll walk around the neighborhood. There's like a little park area down the street from me. And then I will come home and I'll, make some other sort of a food. And then I will order food for the day that I will make throughout the day for myself. And then I pretty much, stay here. I'll either work from home, or I'll go to a hotel or a cafe and work from there. And then usually by 4 o'clock, I head back home before the big rush, before everything starts to close.
Okay.
Are there co-working spaces? And like you talked about cafes, so there are cafes and stuff that will give you free internet to work during the day?
Yeah, the thing with internet here, when you go out into public spaces, depending on where it is, or, which spaces, the hotels will always have really great internet for you to be able to plug into. Like I go to the Marriott Hotel, I might order lunch there, and it's very comfortable. But other like cafes, sometimes having internet is not always something to that you can depend on.
Yeah. So
I'll use my own internet from my phone, which works just fine.
Okay. What does lunch cost you at the Marriott?
About, depending on what you're ordering, $10 to $15.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, and then you're working there, you come back home. So are you not noticing? So it's like a curfew, I guess is what we're calling it, because you have to be in by 8 p.m. Are you not noticing that? Is that not really affecting you because you weren't going to be out anyway, or is it affecting you?
Well, yeah, nothing is open. And what they do here, and they're very serious about their curfew. So if you're caught out after curfew, you have that, if the police catch you, you will get taken to the stadium to sleep overnight with whatever it is that you have on your back. Like they don't play here. like you will stay, and it gets cold out here. It can get pretty chilly out here at night. So, if you're not properly dressed, best of luck to you.
I'm also trying to imagine that being enforced in America. And the riots we would have.
We never. And is the curfew, like, is anything else affected? I know in South Africa, alcohol sales were either limited or totally restricted. Is anything else affected?
Here, no. You can go on, on your phone and order liquor, all the liquor that you want.
Okay.
It's available.
In Mexico, when it gets really bad, then they're like, in this part of town, you can't buy liquor today, but you can over here in this part of town. And in that part. So it's this really weird thing where like, they're trying to control it like that, but it's people who need to get their alcohol today will get their alcohol today. And I'm sure it's the same thing of Africa. People who need it will get it. So yeah.
Things are very convenient here. I've been very surprised. Like there's a really a big interest in using technology, which is if you want to start some sort of app, to make things convenient, there's space for that. So there's several apps that I use here to either buy from local restaurants or local grocery stores or, health food stores. There are, people who create like natural soaps and things, and they have an ability to be able to deliver my facial stuff. I can order that and have that sent to my house. I don't go to the store really. to be quite honest, I just have everything sent to my door.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you get your groceries delivered daily. Is that from a grocery store or a local market? What's
Yeah,
it
it's a
like?
local market. It's called Go Green, and for the most part, most of what they sell is organic. And like
Okay.
when I say it looks and tastes like they picked it out of the backyard as soon as I ordered it.
Mhm.
Like really, it like it does, and they just put it in a paper bag and they deliver it.
Okay. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I know that like
Mm-hmm.
um eating healthy and being healthy was important to you
Mm-hmm.
early in your journey. And so the idea that you can get fresh food daily for
Mm-hmm.
not an expensive amount is pretty cool.
Yeah. And you can go and pick it up, and I have enough space to be able to plant stuff. Like if you want to do that, you can
Oh,
live in an apartment and you can get pots and stuff and do your container gardening. So I know some people who are renting homes, and they've put little garden spaces. If that's what you want to get into, you can do that here as well.
okay. Good to
All
know.
right, so let's talk about how people can work with you. You help people transition into their new life in Rwanda if they want to start a business, if they want to, run their
Yeah.
business already that they already have from there. So how do we contact you? How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you want to do if you're serious, if you really want to do a consultation with me about how to be able to start on planning your trip to Rwanda, to be able to figure out what sort of business ideas are for you, then you can email me at halonablack@gmail.com. That's HALONABLACK@gmail.com. And then as far as the Airbnb space is concerned, I will have that up on the site soon. And that'll be available in September. So in the next few weeks, I'm hoping that the place will be ready for me to be able to take pictures and put up on the site.
Okay. We get asked frequently if a specific location is good for a specific subset of Black women. And so I want to ask, based on what you've said today, you've talked a lot about technology and how this helps you here. I want to ask, if it comes up, would you recommend older retired women moving here? Women who may
Yes.
not be as up on tech and willing to order everything in an app. Is it still going to be a convenient location for them?
You can. And one of the things that's really nice is that if you ask, there's always someone around to be able to help. And so like the security guards here, hopefully if they speak enough English, they'll be able to help you. The cleaning people who come to your house, they'll be able to help you. You can get you can hire a crew of people for not a whole lot of money to be able to help you to do stuff. Like you can hire someone to come in and do your cooking for you. They can do all the shopping for you, or take you to the store to go shopping, or you can hire a taxi person to take you around if you're not really interested in trying to figure out how to do that on an app. And usually when you rent a home, the home will come with this staff of people if you choose to use them.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to do everything on an app if you don't choose to. There's always, local people. And if you can't find anyone, there's always someone that you can add that, your neighbors will be able to recommend someone who can cook for you, who can do the cleaning, your washing and all that stuff.
Okay.
You send your washing out, your laundry?
Yeah. Like not every place has a washing machine, and certain dryers are even less frequent. My place does. Okay. But even still, when if I need her to do a load of laundry, I'll just give it to her, and she'll do that part and just hang it outside for me. And then I prefer to do my own cooking. But you can hire someone to do that. Like especially like for people who have kids, like Africa is a really great place for you to be, because I know people who they got their kids in like violin lessons, dance lessons. All this is going on, while we've all been on lockdown. We can still have all these conveniences available to you, and have people help you with your living space, and still have a good quality of life while you're here.
Another question that we get asked about almost every location we talk about is the dating scene. So I'm not asking specific to you, but generally, have you seen what it's like, what people are experiencing? Is there a shortage of women and we should all run over there? Like what's the deal? What's going on over there?
I don't have a lot of personal experience. However, what I can say about the country of Rwanda is that men here are very, very laid back. They're very polite, which can be, it's a lot different from some other African countries where I've been to, where men are extremely aggressive. You know, they're grabbing on you. You know, they're sort of assuming that you're there to sort of entertain them. There's none of that here at all. You know, men are they can be very helpful at times. So yeah,
That's good.
depending on what it is that you're looking for, you know, men here are very, very nice. I've heard some women say that they're a little bit too laid back. They don't, you know, they can't figure out whether or not, you know, a man is interested in them or not. But some women will say, well, you have to give them like a hint, and then will approach you. And then, you know, of course, once they start to approach you, they keep coming until until you tell them to go away. But men are very, very polite here, which I like. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here in the first place, is because of the non-aggressiveness of the men here.
Okay.
Okay.
And it fits my personality.
And another question, you feel safe there? You feel safe in Rwanda generally?
Yeah, Rwanda is a very, very safe place. You can, you know, very similar to the places that I was in Asia, you can be outside at night and not feel like, you know, anyone is after you. I never really hear anything about people getting robbed in the street. You know, again, men are very polite. They're not trying to, you know, corner you into any area. So yeah, I feel very, very safe here.
Good. Yeah, and I don't remember where you're from, Halona. Where are you from in the US?
New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. That's a good compare. Like, I just want to know, like, are you from a place
I've lived a lot of years in Brick City in North New Jersey. So yeah, I understand crime. like I'm not from someplace, you know, I'm not from someplace far out in the country where it's like you and two other families in the neighborhood. So yeah, I understand what it's like to be able to have to protect yourself when you walk down the street. And for the most part, most of the places that I've been to, that I've been traveling to, I've never really had to worry about my personal safety. And in particular here in Rwanda, people are so loving and kind and soft and gentle. You can sort of let your guard down here. You know, even more so in the other places that I've been to. People are not looking to fool you or, you know, get you caught up into something that you don't need to be caught up into. So I feel very comfortable here, very, very, very safe.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So you talked about taking some, once you can travel a little bit, taking some trips. Do you have any place on your radar that you really want to hit up anytime soon?
I really want to be able to go to London and Paris and Italy. Those are three places that I really want to be able to go to. You know, I'm not sure, you know, how, where, when. I don't know what the COVID restrictions are even. But those are three that I have on the top of my mind. One of the things that I really wanted to do was to be able to set up a home here in Rwanda, but then I also want to be able to have another home probably in Paris. Never been to Paris, but I see myself owning, you know, a flat or something in Paris for some reason. And I can just sort of travel as I choose.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Good plan.
That is. That is.
All right. I think we covered it, right? We covered it. And if anybody, if this is last call for questions. So we've talked about how Halona chose Rwanda, right? She was in Vietnam, and she said she didn't have a list, right? How she chose Rwanda as the place, how she's running her online business, and also how she's running her actual physical business, how she started a physical business in Rwanda and how that's going. So I guess you said two businesses, but we're talking about three businesses. Yeah, okay, because the writing business, the relocation business, and the Airbnb business. right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I guess.
I already tell you, Halona, but you have 3 businesses. So we've talked about that. We talked about the entry process, how to get in and stay in Rwanda if you want to, either as a tourist or as a business owner. We've talked about the cost of living. We've talked about the safety. We've covered it. Okay. So you know now, everybody here watching live or watching the replay, you now know whether or not Rwanda is a place that you want to consider. I've been trying to get there since since Wanda was going to run an event there. I've been trying to get to Rwanda. So I hope I get there sometime and visit you before you bop out.
Before she
No, I'm
purchases
not
the
gonna
flat
bop out.
in
I'm here.
Paris.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always going to be here. Like this will always. I feel like Rwanda is my home. I'm just using it as a base to be able to travel from.
Okay.
Okay. Good. All right. If you want to hear more stories like this, and I know you do, right? I know you do. You need to sign up for Exodus Homecoming at www.exodushomecoming.com. It is September 24th through September 26th. We have an amazing lineup of speakers that you're not going to want to miss. We are going to talk to women who will change your life.
Yes.
If you show up, if you listen to them, if you take their words to heart, you too could be in Rwanda next year, could be in Turks and Caicos. I don't know, but you want to go there, but you could be wherever you want. You could be right here with me in Mexico. Whatever you want to do, we will show you women who made their dreams happen after coming to Exodus Summit last year. And this is going to be your springboard this year. Like Stephanie said earlier, if you sign up by Sunday night, and you sign up for the accelerated pass by Sunday night, you get a bonus.
An actual gift.
An
Mail,
actual,
if you like opening packages, it's a gift.
It's going to be gift. Yes, a physical gift in the mail. If you, and that will ship internationally as well. You will get it if you purchase an accelerated pass by Sunday night. We want this for you. Like Stephanie and I don't do anything with the intention of just giving you information. We do things with the intention.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't want you to be inspired. We want you to we want inspiration, but we want the inspiration to lead to something else. Yeah. So we want you to take action. If you came to Exodus Summit last year, you know that there was a lot of action that could be taken from the speakers like Halona. So we want you this year to, if you didn't take action yet, to come and be inspired and then take the next step.
Yes.
All right.
That's right. All right. So they did let me put Halona's email address. So Halona's email address is in the chat as well. halonablack@gmail.com. She said specifically, if you're serious, okay? So you can do a consultation with Halona if you're serious about relocation to Rwanda, all right? All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much. It was nice to not have to have you be up at like 11 o'clock at night to talk to us. So that's nice.
We appreciate that. Yes. And Rwanda has moved up on my list significantly. So thank you for sharing the information. I learned so much here, but I've never heard before. So thank you.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
All right, friends. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again. Thanks, Halona.
Bye.
Bye.